All right, Melissa.
So Heba's going to come up and help me with this. Come up, Heba. Okay. I'll try. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, my name is Heba, and I'm from Bethlehem.
Wow. That was completely underwhelming.
Sorry, yeah.
She was one of my students, and so we got to know Heba and her family, and they have been a blessing to us. And her mother is here today with Heba Rabie, her sister Noor right next to her, and Heba's going to and Heba's going to be talking a little bit later this evening about what her next steps are. But right now, before we go on to that, we just heard about Bethlehem Evangelical Academy. Prior to us working with that school, we worked at a little school, a little Christian school in Beit Jala, which is, you've got Beit Jala, Bethlehem, and Beit Sahor.
Literally on top of the hill, we get snow. Beit Sahor does not get snow. Keep that in mind. We're special.
Yeah, it's true. So you have a very short distance of maybe 3 or 4 miles, but they're on opposite ends of the area there. And so in Beit Jala, there's a little school called Jerusalem School Bethlehem, JSB for short. And we're just doing a plug for that school. If you're here and you're thinking, what am I doing next? You can think about, and God's speaking through this. Jerusalem School Bethlehem is a great place to serve. Has many wonderful stories about life change, about what God's doing there. Noor is working there right now, and so she could also come up and talk about that. She's working as a secretary in the high school, and so and Heba, of course, graduated from that little school, and that's how we got to know her. And so there's a young lady from New Heights Church, Gina Hopman, who's going to be going out and going to be teaching high school this semester at JSB, high school biology. She just finished her degree in biology. And she couldn't be here tonight because she's out of town, but she wanted us to mention her and just to keep JSB in our prayers and to know that there are a lot of opportunities to serve there, and it's a great place to work and to be. Anything you would add? What would you say about JSB? You'd have thought about it, didn't
Nope.
Okay.
I worked there for a year too. I took a gap year right after I graduated, and man, did it stretch me. It's a great place to grow in, and you're surrounded by a great community of believers, teachers, and some students. So there's always place for growth, for you to mature, and know where your worth is, because it's going to be challenging, but I loved every bit of it, especially the fact that you have so many kids that look up to you, especially me because I played sports, so most of the kids already knew who I was, so then it's like me working in classes was just a blast. It was chaos the whole time. So a lot of times teacher would tell me, get out of the hallway, because once you walk by, kids are just going to start jumping. Because they're like, this is the crazy one, full of energy, so stay out of here.
The little kids flock to her. Would
Yes.
you add anything, Noor? What would you say about JSB?
Noor works here.
Yes. That's why I was asking.
Anything? Do you love your job?
I do.
Great.
There's a testimonial from Noor. I do. She loves her job. Okay. Awesome. Anyway, do we have someone to pray for JSB and for whatever God's doing? Heba, would you do that?
Okay, do I touch you?
I
I know Americans love the whole affection thing. It's not
We don't have to touch you.
Okay, great. I'll just do this. Heavenly Father, thank you for this wonderful day and this great opportunity to just talk about how you're moving across the globe. And I just lift up JSB and the administration, that you continue to bless them and to continue to provide for them. And at the same time, to always point them to you, even though living overseas is just so difficult. But those are the times that we learn to trust in you and know that you are our Father and you are our Master and you will lead our steps. In your heavenly name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
The next person that we're going to have share, her name is Hannah Gaston. She's not here today, but she's going to be here through video. And she grew up in Memphis, moved to Fayetteville to attend U of A, and she graduated from there. She came to Beit Sahor and taught at BEA for 2 years. And now she's working with a UK ministry in Beit Sahor. It's called Beit Yusuf. Beit means house, so the house of Joseph in English. Basically what it does is it takes young people that have mental disabilities and capabilities, and they house them in their building for about 2 weeks. And it gives the family just a break, time to do some things that they normally don't get that opportunity to do. And this is a very important ministry in the Middle East, because oftentimes disabilities are looked upon as a curse from God. And these people get to see people like Hannah Gaston love on their children. And they always want to know, why do you love my child? How can you love my child? And she'll remind them that they're made in the image of God. And they just don't understand that love. And so they inquire more. So it's a great opportunity to minister to these people. And so, if you want to show the video. Having some slight technical difficulties. There it is.
Hi Fayetteville friends, my name is Hannah. If you don't know me, I am in Bethlehem in the West Bank. I have been here for about 3 years now. Before that, I was in Fayetteville, and so I want to say hello and thank you to all my friends and supporters in Fayetteville. I miss you a lot. I'm so excited that you are at this time of sharing about things happening in the Middle East. I wish I could be there, but I do want to say thank you and love you all. If you don't know who I am here working with people with disabilities. I work with an organization called Love Into Action. We run a respite care center in the West Bank called Beit Yusuf. We provide respite care or short breaks to young people with severe and multiple cognitive disabilities, meaning we bring them to the center for 1 week out of 8 weeks, every 8 weeks. Every week we have a different group that will come. They come in a cycle. And we play with them, we work with them on different skills, and just try to give them a break from hard home lives. And then the other 7 weeks when they're not with us, we are visiting them in their homes. Again, playing with them, working with their families, building relationships. And so with this long term, we want to see families caring for their children better, and also we want to build relationships with these families so that they see the love of God. So that's just a quick snapshot of what we do here. I would love to talk to you more about these things. You can get my email from Dennis Peterson. You can ask him more questions, but I just really want to say thank you, and I look forward to talking to you more.
And Hannah will have a table set up out here in the foyer. So if you want to get her newsletter, she sends a newsletter out once a month. You can sign up there, and then we will send those over to her. Susanna served at BEA with us for a year, and she roomed with Hannah when she was working there, and she's going to pray for Hannah.
Cool. Jesus, thank you so much for Hannah and the work that she's doing in Beit Sahor and with different families all across the West Bank. I thank you just for the opportunity that you've given Beit Yusuf to reach to the corners of the West Bank and places that that are hard to get to and to share Jesus with. And so I thank you for their ministry, and I pray blessings over their ministry financially and just with relationships. And Jesus, I pray for encouragement for Hannah, that you would be close to her, that you would give her strength for the days that are hard, and just overflow with joy through her, and use her to change lives. And yeah, God, we love you so much. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. I like to share stories. And the guy that she works for, his name is Lawrence. He's from the UK. Awesome man. And for us, my family, our visa was running out. And we had about 12 hours to get out of the country. And Israel had a snowstorm. And we couldn't hire anybody to take us to the airport. And Lawrence said, "Hey, I'll take you." We're like, "But the snow, we don't know if you can get back." Jerusalem's located on a mountain, and Tel Aviv is down on the coast. I said, "I don't know if you can get back." He goes, "It'll be okay." He goes, "I've packed some food." And I look in there, he's got a Coke, he's got a bag of chips, and a bag of candy. I said, "Okay, if you're willing to do it." And so he takes us to the airport, and there's nobody else on the road. It looked like, it looked like the apocalypse had happened. And I mean, cars are just all over the road. There's nobody around, and the army had actually came in and took all the people that on the streets and took them to their houses. And so we're the only people on the road. And he takes us down, and we get to the States, and I call Lawrence back. I said, "Hey, how was getting back to Beit Sahor?" He goes, "Well, it took me 3 days, but I made it." He slept in his van for 3 days for us. That's the kind of person that Hannah's working for. So, guys, we have some snacks for you out here, and also Melissa has prepared some Arabic coffee. So if you'd like to try that, all right. So if you'd like to try that, that's also out there. Also, take some time to meet with Jeff and Gada and Heba and some of the others, and we have a table for Hannah as well. So if you guys will take about a 5-minute break and then come back in here. All right, guys, let's get started. Our next speaker is going to be Heba Rabie, and I've known her and her family for nine years now, and they were one of the first families that we met in Bethlehem. And when we went there, I was the principal of JSB, and we'll say she spent a lot of time in my office, and so I got to know her. I got to know her really well. And also, she was active in sports, and we had a ministry there that was called Al Beit, or the house, and she would spend a lot of time coming to those. And she became like a daughter to me, and it's just, she has been just one of these special people in my life ever since I've met her. And when she graduated from high school, she decided to come to the University of Arkansas. 4 years later, she graduated with a degree in communication. And her family got to come and see her graduate. And what's really cool about that is that now, when she goes back to Bethlehem to visit, she gets to spread the U of A hog all over Bethlehem. Yes. So now she is been invited to work with a ministry called Athletes in Action, and she's going to come up and talk about that.
It's me again. What a pleasant surprise to see my face, I'm sure. It's great to see a lot of you guys here. Thanks for coming out just to support the Roads and everybody that's connected with them. The Roads have been a great blessing to me for the past 9 years. They've seen me down, and they've seen me up, and they've seen me everywhere. And it's like a dream for my family to finally be here and get to meet a lot of New Heights family that have loved me so well for the past 4 years that I've been here. And now God gave me a job, and it's not an easy job, but I know that He will provide everything that's needed for it. And this job decision was influenced by the fact that I went to the American school, JSB, back in Bethlehem, and all the teachers that are there are missionaries. And growing up around that, I remember whenever we would have big groups come in, I would just sit on the front row and I would look at all these Americans sharing their testimony, and I'm like, God, one day I want to be like them. And praise God, eventually I surrendered my life to Christ, and I was like, here I am, Lord, use me, not knowing the cost of that. But I wholeheartedly believe it's worth it.
Amen.
Even when I'm in doubt, God brings a lot of people around me. Great for my friends, my roommate that's here, that's supported me throughout all my crazy life decisions. So, Athletes in Action is a ministry that, obviously a crew ministry, recently learned that a year and a half ago. Athletes in Action leads a trip to Bethlehem every single year. They've been doing that for more than 10 years. So what they try to do is that they bring about 14 women and men, and they plug them into local basketball teams, and they use that time to just train and play basketball games with these locals. And they use their time to just share the gospel, live out their faith. So that also had a big impact on me. So coming here, junior year, I got plugged in with Athletes in Action. It was the craziest thing ever, but God provided me with an opportunity to just serve and lay my life down. And months and months later, I realized that this is what God has called me to do. You can go to the second slide. So for the past year, I've never discipled anyone, but for the past 3 years that I've been here, I was discipled by someone. Then she left, and I was like, oh crap, she's gone, what am I going to do? Then immediately God sent 2 wonderful women, you'll see them later, that discipled me, and they really encouraged me to disciple someone. I was like, Emily, you've known me for less than 2 months. Do you really want to trust me with someone's life? She's like, well, it's not really going to be you. It's going to be God working through you. And I'm like, yeah, but this is very scary. So this beautiful lady, her name is Haley. She's a freshman, or was now a sophomore. I actually met her through the girl named Gina that is going to Bethlehem. So I met Gina through Athletes in Action, literally the second week. We really connected. Found out I'm from the Middle East. She's like, I want to know everything about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, girl, we're going to spend weeks and weeks together talking about it. So that's what we did. We met for multiple weeks in a row, and I just shared my heart for Americans, and she shared her heart for Arabs. And I was like, this is wonderful. So eventually I connected her with people from there, and she turned in an application, and all going great. So what happened is that Gina was doing a follow-up with this girl after we had a big Lake Day event for Labor Day weekend. Is that September, Americans? Yes. Wonderful. I'm still learning when is Labor Day and when is Memorial Day. I always get them mixed up.
Memorial Day is in May.
Oh, that's what I've been looking for all my life. So Gina was doing a follow-up with Haley, and my boss, Tyler, goes, why don't you go and sit with them and learn what a follow-up with an athlete is? And I'm like, so I just sit as the third person, I just listen, and he goes, maybe they might ask you questions, you can answer them. And I go, okay, cool. So I show up, and Gina's there, Haley's there, and Haley and I really connected. Her dad has served in the army in Iraq for many years, so he speaks fluent Arabic. So on the spot, she calls her father, and we start talking, and I'm just like, I just met you, girl, but okay, cool. So I could just see that her personality is just out there, and I'm like, well, this is going to be challenging. So after the meeting ended, Gina goes, you should disciple this girl. I'm like, do you know who I am? No. So I went back to Tyler, and I go, Tyler, Gina said I should disciple her. What do you think? He goes, there's nothing that you could do to mess up, because all you got to do is allow the Holy Spirit to work through you. It is not your responsibility anymore. Instead, it's on God. He's got you. So it took me 4 weeks to say yes. When I asked Haley if I could disciple her, I was like, hey, do you want to go on this journey with me? She's like, what? I was like, discipleship? Do you know what that is? She's like, oh, no. I was like, okay, well, I don't know either, because I've never done it to somebody, but let's learn. So for the past year, this has been one of the best decisions that I've ever made, is just to pour into someone while 2 other godly women are pouring into me. It changed me as much as it changed her, because I started seeing how she was so faithful, even though I was this total stranger from Bethlehem. Like, why would she even want to meet with me? And especially the fact that she plays for a D1 school, U of A, it's our professional team. So a lot of those athletes think very highly of themselves. And they're measured by their performance. So one big thing that Haley and I worked on for the past year is just that, how do you find your worth in Christ instead of in the fact that you're not playing anymore? Like the first 4 months that we met on a weekly basis, getting in the Word, she would just cry. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to deal with people that are crying. And I just sit there and I'm like, I'm sorry, this is really hard, but you gotta think that like your sport is so important, but what's more important is eternity and how you use the time that God gave you on this earth to influence others. And she goes, oh, this is a new perspective. So weeks go by, the semester rolls in, and then Haley comes up to me and she goes, there's my roommate, and she never cleans up and she doesn't do that. And I'm like, okay, have you thought about serving her and doing things for her instead of just having a hard time accepting the fact that she's not keeping the house clean? She goes, oh, okay, I should try that. So what she started doing is that she started serving her roommate. And then she started slowly building a relationship with her, just getting to know her a little bit better. And then they started going to movies together. And I just realized that it's the small things that we teach them that they take them to their home, to their friends, and to their families. Like her family, her parents are not believers. But we committed to trying to pray for her family on a weekly basis. Where you just sit together and we're like, let's pray for your mom. Her mom is a very, very successful woman. That she's like, I've been doing this for so many years, why would I need God now? Mm-hmm. And the fact that Haley came as a Christian to the U of A, reached out to Athletes in Action because she wanted to be part of a Christian community was amazing to me. I'm like, God just made her to be a leader. Every single time that she came to our Monday night Bible study, she brought at least 5 softball players with her. This is not normal for a freshman because usually the juniors and the seniors are the ones that lead. But God used this person, changed my life, and at the same time, I was able to see fruit because God used her to lead one of her teammates to Christ. Wow. And when Hannah came and told me, I was like, wow, this is what we've been saying since the beginning of the semester, to shift the focus from the performance to the fact that you're living for God and you're trying to impact those around you and share the love and hope that Christ has given you. So, after all that, I was able to experience more joy than I've ever in my life. I played sport, got MVP my senior year. I thought I was like a rock star. I was going to go to WNBA. Big dreams. I even thought I was going to play for the U of A. So I went to a girl, also AA, back in Bethlehem. I go, Jessica, as you might have heard, I'm going to U of A for school. Do you think I could potentially play for the women Razorbacks? And she goes, but I don't mean to crush your dreams, but probably not possible. I'm like, I have a year, I'll just be working at the school, I think I can do it. She's like, I'm sorry, Heba, but I don't think that's going to happen. So little did I know that this is what God has had in store for me. Instead of me playing my sport, instead using my sport and my passion for it to impact those around me and meet them where they are and go to softball games and know nothing. Like, that was very humbling because I know soccer and I know basketball and I enjoy both of them. But having to sit in the stands and be like, yeah, there's my girl, I see her. She's on the field, but third base, what is she doing? It was rough. But I was like, okay, God, this is very ironic. But I know that you know what you're doing, so I'm going to sit here and be patient. So, discipling her has basically brought my life more than anything, and I go back to the verse in John 10:10 that the thief comes to kill, steal, and destroy, but I came that they may have life eternally. And after experiencing that joy, I'm like, how could there be anything better than this? So that's why I'll be working for Athletes in Action. So I'm currently in the process of developing a team of partners and just inviting people to join me on this vision. And I also have a table right at the back. If you want to just sign up, multiple ways that you can get involved, either just to get my newsletter or partner with me. I'd love to get you a cup of coffee and just share more amazing stories that Athletes in Action is able to do here at the U of A campus. You can go to the third one. So this is my beautiful team. This is Angel on the left. That's Tyler, my boss, on the right. That's their wonderful son, Jude. This is Zach. and that's his wife, Emily. They have a baby, beautiful girl named Shiloh. She's not with them, and that's myself. And Zach and Tyler work very closely with the football team. Does anybody know Dan Skipper?
Personal?
No, like, you know, he played football, so everybody knows him. I guess not. Okay, Gordon doesn't. All right, who knows? All right, awesome. Come on, guys. It's Arkansas. Everybody knows everybody. So, Zach discipled Dan Skipper since his freshman year, and we've seen Dan multiply for his senior year. Even though he was busy and he was getting married, he got married in March. He was still faithful to disciple junior, and the junior has been multiplying. So it was amazing for me to see that even though Dan Skipper plays for the Dallas Cowboys now, we've seen him grow our ministry and also bring people closer and teach them all about Christ and what it means to play your sport as a way of worship instead of using your way for self-worship, basically. So thanks a lot for listening, and I'll be in the back. You're the brave woman.
We don't have to touch it.
Oh, it's okay. We can touch. It's America, guys.
Yeah. Dear Heavenly Father, God, I just thank you for Heba and the heart that you've given her for the American people. And Lord, just how you've placed people in her life so intentionally, so intricately. And Lord, I just thank you that you've called her to be a part of Athletes in Action. And I just love and admire seeing how her faith has been built through the past year that I've known her. Knowing that you have her in your hands and that you're going to provide the funds that she needs, God. And I pray boldly that you would just multiply the funds, and God, that you would give her the peace that she has, and just help her see your vision even more. And I thank you for the girl that you've placed in her life, and I pray that you would continue to place people in her path that she can share your love with, Lord. And so we're very thankful for the life change that you have in each and every one of our lives, and I just pray that you continue to bless her steps as she goes through this process, and bless her time with her family that's able to join her in America. Lord, we love you. Amen.
So, Brian, you want to come up and talk about what you put together here for us?
We'll put it here first.
Okay. We're going to do